We talk a lot about improving our minds, thinking more positively. But what if we could go way beyond that? What if it's possible to get, well, a whole new brain from God? Not just an upgrade, but a completely new operating system. That's what we're going to dive in today, this amazing idea that our minds can be totally renewed.
And to get our heads around this, let's start with a really cool scientific study. Back in the early 2000s, scientists in London got super interested in the city's taxi drivers, and not just for their driving, but for what was physically happening inside their brains.
See, becoming a London cabbie is no joke. You have to pass this insanely difficult test called the knowledge. And it means memorizing, get this, 25,000 streets and thousands of points of interest. It's one of the most intense mental workouts you could possibly imagine.
So, the scientists scanned their brains, and what they found was just incredible. The part of the brain that handles spatial memory, the hippocampus, it had literally grown bigger. This wasn't a metaphor. Their brains had physically changed structure just from all that training. The big takeaway here? Our brains are not fixed. They can change.
And that, right there, leads us to a much, much bigger question. I mean, if just memorizing a map can physically alter your brain, what happens when the one who designed the brain in the first place gets involved? We're not talking about simple improvement anymore. We're talking about a total transformation.
So, to really appreciate the solution God offers, we first have to get real about the problem. Sometimes, the Bible refers to our natural, human way of thinking as the flesh. And that kind of explains why, no matter how hard we try, we often feel stuck or scattered or just plain overwhelmed.
Let's look at Romans chapter 8, verse 7. It says, "The mind governed by the flesh is hostile to God. It does not submit to God's law, nor can it do so." What that's basically saying is that our default mental software, on its own, just isn't compatible with God's wisdom. It's not that we aren't trying hard enough, it's that the system itself can't do it.
And this next verse puts it even more bluntly. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9 says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it?" Wow. That tells us that even our best intentions and our deepest intuitions can lead us astray. Left to our own devices, our minds are going to fall short.
So you've got this one column, right? The natural mind. We've just seen it's hostile to God, it can't submit, it's even deceitful. But what's the alternative? What's supposed to go on the other side of this chart? Well, that's the incredible promise we're about to unpack.
Okay, let's shift from the problem to the solution. And this isn't some self-help technique or a try-harder strategy. This is about a complete rewiring, a gift, straight from God.
Listen to this amazing promise from Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 26. "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh." This isn't just a minor fix. This is a spiritual heart transplant. He's swapping out our old, hard, rigid way of thinking with something that's new and alive.
And you see the same idea pop up in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone, the new is here." Pay attention to those words, new creation. It doesn't say improved version or renovated self. It says the old is gone and something completely new is here.
So what does it actually mean to be a new creation? The best way I can describe it is like this. God installs a brand new operating system inside you. The old, buggy software that kept crashing, it's gone. And in its place is a system that changes everything. How you think, how you make decisions, how you see the world.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in real life? Day to day. How does a renewed mind actually work when you're just trying to get through a Tuesday?
Let's just take a typical morning. The old way? You wake up and boom, your mind is immediately scattered. You're pulled in 100 directions by emails, to-do lists, decisions. You're just reacting to everything. The turning point is that simple moment when you pause and invite God's perspective in. In the new way, you start to feel this natural sense of clarity, a peace. You find yourself focusing on the right things, not because you're forcing yourself, but because your mind's default setting is changing.
This next verse basically gives us the user manual for it. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 to 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight." And that straight path, it's not just about what happens on the outside. It's about a clear, focused, uncluttered mind on the inside.
And this new brain, it really shows up in the little things.
all of a sudden you have more clarity on what really matters today. You find yourself having more wisdom in conversations, more patience when you're trying to make a decision. You feel a sense of peace in situations that used to totally stress you out. It's in these small, everyday moments that you realize, wow, something is really different.
So what's the long-term payoff here? What happens when all these small changes start to stack up? Let's talk about the incredible, life-changing impact of living with a mind that is truly being renewed.
A renewed mind just shifts your entire perspective. Where you used to only see problems, you start to see solutions. You start noticing opportunities that were completely invisible to you before, and you find yourself responding to challenges with wisdom and calm instead of just knee-jerk stress. It's not about being smarter. It's about running on a whole different engine.
And here's the core instruction for it all. Romans chapter 12, verse 2 tells us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Real, lasting transformation isn't about trying to fit in or keep up. It's an inside-out job, one that's powered by God.
So here's the bottom line. The most important thing to remember. You do not have to stay stuck in a loop of anxious, scattered, or limited thinking. You don't have to just white-knuckle it on your own. God is offering a total upgrade, a completely new way of thinking, and it's available to you.
So, I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Just imagine waking up tomorrow, not just feeling a little more positive, but actually thinking differently, with a mind that's clearer, calmer, and more insightful. Because the creator of your brain is renewing it from the inside out.